Hi there. Thanks so much for joining me. Today we're going to learn to make a vertebrae bracelet. This is a great project for a first-time beginner. If you've never done any chainmail before, this is a nice one to start with because the pattern's just very, very simple. We're going to be using EPDM rubber O-rings. These are black, and then we're going to have a rainbow going on. We have all of our rubber O-rings at Bead Me a Story custom made for us in all these fantastic colors. In some sizes, you'll see that we have over 30 colors, so we really specialize in this and try and give you a great color palette to work with every time. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so in order to make our vertebrae bracelet, we're going to start by taking our 20 millimeter rubber O-rings, and we're going to set the 15 millimeter rubber O-rings inside of those, and you can see I've made them into a rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. This is probably as good a time as any to talk about the colors. This is our candy red. The candy red leans a little bit more towards the pink side. In some of our other sizes, we do carry a fire red, which leans a little bit more orange. This is bright orange, buttercup yellow. This is our green. The blue I'm using is Blue Wave. I prefer it to our Celestial Blue, which is another traditional blue, simply because of the fact that the Celestial is a little bit darker, and I think that the Blue Wave pops out a little bit more when you're doing a rainbow, and since it's surrounded with black. And then this is Purplicious that's in this one. So those are our 6 most classic colors that we carry. Okay, so I pre-opened all of our jump rings here. These are 16 gauge 1/4 inch jump rings I'm using. These are a little bit hard to work with, so I just want to show you that you can see about how much I have them open. About a quarter of the way. You may need to go just a little hair more, but since this is a very beginner kit, and this is one of the projects that first timers often do, I just want to show you that when you're opening your jump rings, you do not want to open them too far. So, you know, about there is good. If you do this, which beginners tend to do a lot, the further you open this, the more warped this ring is becoming. And therefore, when you go to close it, it makes it very hard to make a perfect circle again. And it's at a weird angle, and see how it's, you know, just, I do a pretty good job of closing it back, but it is going to get warped, so let's not do that. I just like to warn you of that before you get started. Okay, so our red is going to be on the bottom, and you can see here how I'm taking this pair and I'm just laying it on top. Okay, so then this way we can just kind of stab down through both of these layers. Okay, and then close the jump ring. Now, as long as you have plenty of room on your jump ring, you can use this curved edge if you're using a pair of bent nose pliers. Typically, you want to use them this way, but this is a pretty big project using pretty large rings. So I prefer to have the grip if I have the room to have that grip. Okay, so I am closing my jump ring. You can see you want a nice clean close on your jump ring. Don't want any big gaps or anything. Okay, and then you see how I'm just pushing that forward. That's what's going to happen. See how it's starting to push it forward like it's going to be. And now I'm going to do the other side. So I can actually flip this so this is away from me now. And now I'm going to again go down through the orange and black and through the red and black. And so these are, you know, going to get stacked back. You see they're right on top of each other, and that's fine. Again, closing the other jump ring. Okay. And then I'm gonna push this orange one forward. So see how I'm pulling it from either side? Okay. So now we're gonna do our yellow. We're gonna do the same exact thing. Just lay it right on top. We're going to pass this through the yellow and black. And then I'm gonna pass this through the orange and black. Okay, I'm gonna come in and close this jump ring. Okay, and so at this point, see how I'm pulling this up to this side very simply while I still have my pliers on it, okay? And then, if I can grab a jump ring here. I like to get tangled up with one another. Okay, so now down through the yellow and black, down through the orange and black. You see it coming back out the outside. Okay, so the rubber O-rings provide you with a lot of friction, which is what makes this a really good first time beginner project. Once you start doing this with all metal rings, gravity happens. They're much more slippery, and so things aren't going to lock in place like they are here. You can see nothing's really moving. Everything's nice and tight. Okay, so once you move on to doing traditional chainmail with only metal jump rings, these items are going to move around a lot. A lot of times what I like to do is, in that case, we would have a clasp, and a lot of times I'll attach the clasp at the beginning before I start making the rope. And that helps to keep things from falling out of place on the back side of it. Okay, so next my green, pass through here, and pass through the yellow, and get that in there. Okay, again, closing my jump ring. Remember how I pulled this up on this side, get it in place. I'm kind of adjusting as I'm going. This is all really tight, so you know, the more you can let it all lay flat and nicely as you go along, the better off you'll be. Okay, again, turning that over so I can go through my green and black again, and then again through my yellow and black. Okay, so we're just going to continue on this way. I'm going to go off camera for a few minutes. So that I don't waste your time. I'm just doing the same thing over again. Next, we're going to lay the blue on, attach it with the 2 jump rings. Then we're going to do the purple, attach that with the 2 jump rings, and then I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so you can see I'm starting on my second rainbow here, and you see where I got to the purple and the red, and now I'm on the orange. And it just occurred to me that I wanted to show you this little trick that I do. So see how my orange kind of got pushed over to the side? It's not sitting inside my black. So here's what I do when that happens. I pull this one to the inside. See how I'm pulling the black to the outside? Okay, and once I get that pulled to the outside, you can very easily just flatten this back out, and we're good to go again. Okay, and I'll let you see that. Okay, so as you can see, we finished the length of this. Okay, so we started on red, go to orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and so what we're going to do now is, oops, okay, so this was our first one, our first red. We're going to bring that around, so now it's on top. Before, this would have been on the bottom. Okay, so now this is on top. And then we're going to also lay our purple on top of the red to make this continuous. Okay, see how simple that is? So now you're just going to take 2 more jump rings, just like we've been doing. You're going to pass down through the purple. It's okay if that separates while you're doing this. Down through the purple. Get our red underneath it. And then down through the red. And we'll close that end of the work. While you're doing this too, make sure that you don't pinch the jump rings. If you noticed, I stopped and adjusted a little bit. I don't want to get that rubber O-ring pinched in between my jump ring, because any nicks to your rubber O-rings can create a tear later. These are really sturdy. They're going to last a long time. They're going to do great, but if you're nicking them with sharp objects while you're making these, then you're going to end up with a broken bracelet later. Okay, and then here's our purple on top. I just flipped that around so I could go through the purple from the other side, down through the red, come back up through, and close. Okay, and I just want you to notice when you're getting started, it's easy to be in a hurry and not to grab your rings properly. But you notice I'm completely stabilized on these rings before I start moving. Okay, so don't half grab your ring and then come in here and start moving right away. Make sure that you have a good steady grasp on this side too before you start to close this jump ring. That's going to make all the difference in the world as you get better and better at chainmail. Okay, and so there we go. Our bracelet is finished. I just want to show you with this that you can pull it out really wide. These are huge rings. It's totally okay to yank on them, and you see how this pattern has stayed spread out. And then once you get it on your wrist, if you have a smaller wrist, you can just squeeze it back in, and it's just like an accordion. See how now it's much tighter? So you can just squeeze it around your wrist if you have a smaller wrist. So this one's great because it's a one size fits most. So thanks so much for joining me today. Sorry. I hope this helps you a lot in getting started with chainmail. This is a great beginner project. It is one of the larger size projects, so the jump rings are a little bit thicker and it takes a little bit stronger hands to work with. So if you have arthritis in your hands or something like this, you may do a little bit better with something that has an 18 gauge or smaller gauge jump ring, just so it'll be easier on your hands. But if you don't have the best eyesight, this is a great size to start with because you'll be able to see everything really well and work with it and not have any tight spaces. So I hope you keep on learning, and I'll see you next time.